All right, let's check out some of the hot topics that we're following right here on the Ringside Politics program. I think the biggest news of the week was the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, saying that at the cabinet meeting the other day that her investigators, her crack team, has found that election machines are compromised. And she's saying that she is going to help the president follow through on his mandate for paper ballots. Now, we keep hearing from the mainstream media, from the rhinos, from the doubters, the machines are fine, nothing to see here. Well, Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National Intelligence, and when she says that this is what they've uncovered, that is a bombshell. And, of course, it wasn't reported much by the mainstream news media at all. They want elections to be the same. They want, of course, massive mail-in balloting. They want illegals to vote. They want an election season, not an election day. They want all these machines to still be used. They hate the idea of paper ballots. But the president supports paper ballots, and I support President Trump, and that is the best thing we can do for election integrity. So kudos to Tulsi Gabbard. Also, she promised the release of records from the RFK and the MLK assassination files. And she said that these records, many of them had been in boxes, never been scanned, never been really examined, just thrown in a corner somewhere. So thankfully, we're going to have disclosure on these other two just devastating assassinations, which impacted our country so much. And there have been all kinds of questions about what really happened. So this administration is moving forward on the truth, on disclosure, on transparency, and that's some of the best accomplishments that they can achieve over this next term. So congrats to the president, Tulsi Gabbard, for following through on that promise. Now we have one, though, that we still need more disclosure on, and that's the Epstein files. What's the delay on that, Pam Bondi? She had promised full disclosure on that a long time ago. And now the Judicial Watch organization, which is a group that is doing good work and has for many years, have actually sued the Department of Justice for the release of those files. So Epstein died in 2019. We're now 2025. That's 6 years ago. This needs to be released. It just is infuriating that we've had these delays. So I think Judicial Watch is doing the right thing. We've got to have the release of these files. Again, we need disclosure for the American people. And there are all kinds of questions swirling around. We can put that to rest and help give the American people the truth. We also, of course, were lied to during the Biden administration about Biden's cognitive ability, about his health. We know it's 4 years of lying and covering up for the guy. What a refreshing change to have President Trump, who took his physical. He's also saying, yeah, I'm going to release the results over the weekend. So we're going to know the physical and mental test results from President Trump. Remember, Biden would never take a cognitive test. So we never had those results made available to the American people. What a change to have that with President Trump. He looks like he's in great health, looks like he's in better health than he has been in years. Obviously, he's mentally sharp as ever. So he said he aced it, and we're going to now get those results to the American people. Another refreshing change. All you have to do is look at a cabinet meeting, folks. Biden had 9 during 4 years, okay? Donald Trump and his cabinet have had multiple meetings since he started office already. They've taken 20 times more questions in the few cabinet meetings that they've had than Biden ever took in his cabinet meetings. You don't have Melania running the meetings like Joe Biden had Dr. Jill running meetings for him. There's no question who's in charge. But the openness and the transparency and the availability to the media is just so refreshing. That's what we need in our constitutional republic, and that's what President Trump and his team is providing. We're also seeing policies that are working. You know, the media was saying we're going to see a spike in inflation. Well, consumer prices fell in March. One of the big devastating impacts of Bidenomics was inflation. You know, it tears away at your salary. It tears away at your savings. Americans can't get ahead. They can't afford the American dream. They're struggling to survive, having to take multiple jobs just to keep their head above water. We saw surging inflation during Biden's regime, over 20% cumulatively over his 4 years of terror. Thankfully now, under President Trump, already we're seeing prices go down. Again, an underreported story this week that I think was amazing. We also saw the U.S. Space Force commander in Greenland fired. She had made disparaging comments to the community there in Greenland about J.D. Vance's trip, disavowing what the vice president and this administration wanted to do in Greenland. And she was relieved of her command, as she should have been. Okay, there's got to be one voice from this administration. And if you're not on board with what the Trump administration wants to do, then you need to go. And thankfully, she's been relieved. And finally, another great accomplishment. We have another American hostage back home, Ksenia Karlina, a Russian-American ballerina, freed this week after negotiations with the Russians. We've seen several American hostages released from Russian prisons all over the country. This is what you call leadership. This is putting the American people first. And glad to see this young lady here back in America. And she's excited to be back home here in America. And I'm very thankful President Trump and his team scored another victory for the American people.